This conference will now be recorded.
Great.
All right, so welcome to the April meeting. It's the first time I've been on the council for more than 10 years. It's the first time that we were forced to do it this way. And the other time we did it was optional. So I'm glad for the people that are here. Let me see if I can get a hold of Rich and Francina before we start here. A mobile phone.
How's everybody doing? Are you all healthy and well and staying sane and safe?
So far.
As well as can be. So far, so good.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Yeah, good. I just found out that my niece is returning from London on Sunday. We're thrilled about that. But now she and my brother will be quarantined for 2 weeks. And I'm not quite sure he knows how to do that. So, challenging times for sure.
I'm going to leave a voicemail first, and I'll send a text, then I'll send an email.
I'll send an email.
Oh, to Francina? Okay.
Deborah, did you hear from them?
I just ran.
Deborah, you're muted.
No, she's got no sound unless she's caller 3.
Thank you. I don't even know if it went on. Let me call Rich. Did we hear from any of them?
I'm reaching out to Deborah. Did you?
And Rich's mobile went to voicemail. Leave a message and I'll call his home number.
All right, and I will.
Hey, Rich, it's Randy. We have a call in for MNRCC. Hang on, someone is texting in my ear now. I'm calling. Oh, Francina is calling in now. All right, so anyway, Rich, I'll call you on your home. Give us a call, please. All right, so she's calling in. All right, so let me try his home phone.
Francina's calling you or she's calling in?
She said she texted she's calling in.
Okay. Naomi, how are things with you?
It's Randy Glucksman calling. Is Rich available?
Yeah, kind of tired of the working at home thing.
Randy Glucksman from the Community Council. We're having our monthly Community Council meeting now, and I was hoping that he'd be able to call in.
Lisa?
Yes, I know. Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, no, it's very unsettling time. You know, we've lost huge amount of ridership, and just everything's on hold. It's I think everybody's kind of out of sorts.
Yeah.
Rich is out running some errands, according to his wife.
Okay.
Yeah, Naomi, we ran out of power for 24 or 26 hours yesterday out in Bedford.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Who is that?
Yeah, Francis.
Oh, okay.
Well, Randy, you had a power failure also.
Right. Who was number 3, though? Someone just lit up from number 3.
That's Naomi.
No, Naomi, I have NK. I see her name there.
Yeah,
we still have caller number 3 still not identified themselves.
No, Naomi is caller number 3.
Oh.
Naomi, I don't know if you called in twice or if you called in on your computer, but your name is on one and caller number 3 is on the other.
Hello?
Okay.
Hi, Francina?
So which one is
Francina? How are you?
Francina is number 4. Thank you, Francina. Thank you for calling in. We also, the power went out in our neighborhood on Monday, but we have a generator, so we were in good, very good standing all day. All right.
Oh, that was the real windy day.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should have seen all the tree branches in my yard. And I'm sorry, who just said that? Caller number 1.
Orange.
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 Yeah, my driveway was just covered with large tree branches. But we
Okay,
didn't
so-
lose power.
All right, so thank you everybody for participating. We just need to get approval of the agenda for today's meeting, please.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make that motion.
I second
I
it.
second it.
Okay, thank you. I move that we accept the meeting minutes, which was distributed. I get a second?
I move to approve the minutes.
Thank you. Okay, chair's report is distributed. If anybody has any questions, I'm happy to answer them. One of the side things that happened with the reduction of service on Metro North is that my favorite cars that they operate, the M3s, are temporarily retired. They were maintained. I don't know that you, Francina, you wouldn't have seen them because they're used on the electric service, and most of them were running on the Harlem line, but they did have a couple of train sets running out of Croton Harmon. So it remains to be seen if they do come back. All right, so there are no questions on my chair's report. The board report, I don't really have anything because we're having our board briefing at 2 o'clock this afternoon. I don't know what we're going to be talking about. Let me just check my email here and see if an agenda was sent in the meantime about it. There is not. I'm going to guess they're going to talk about the well over 90% reduction in ridership. Where's the money come? Show me the money. Is probably another topic. I think it's my opinion, a lot of the people who are now working from home, that their bosses will decide that, you know what, you don't need to come in 5 days a week. Maybe 1 or 2 days a week is enough. So I think the ridership is going to go down a lot, but I don't have any facts to support that. Does anybody want to talk about this subject, or we can move on to something else? Francine, what was the last?
The big challenge is going to be figuring out what the new normal is, and for the MTA to figure out what their needs are going to be financially and operationally. We're hoping that we can see some review of usage by station and by line a little to see what the change is a little bit more, to see if there's any perspective on changing some of the service that adapts to those changing riderships.
Yeah, if I can just, from another operator's point of view too, we're just really, wondering how the whole economy is going to change too. And are people, people have lost their jobs. Are they going to go to the same jobs? Are they going to go to different jobs? Are they going to be afraid of riding transit and being in close proximity to people? Is the decline in retail going to continue as far as bus ridership? And I know it's the same with the MTA bus ridership, is that it had been going down since about 2013. So is that going to continue? And yes, as was said earlier, is there going to be more tolerance and more encouraging telecommuting? So yes, so much of this is just so unknown, and we're just trying to get a handle on it.
I noticed we have a caller number 5 now.
That's Ellen.
That's me. Hey, Randy. Sorry about that. I'm a little late.
See your beautiful face.
That wasn't working from my house, so the call-in is easier.
So Francina, what was the last time that you rode the train?
The last time was March 12th.
Did you see ridership already dropping off up there?
Actually, I'm temporarily staying in the city. My sister is in my house now, and she's in the quarantine because she got the virus from my nephew, who got it from his father because he's a corrections officer at downstate. So I'm actually in the city. I've been in the city for a month for now. until this thing blows over. But ridership's down everywhere. Even when I drive up to the Hudson Valley on the weekend, on Saturdays, typically, it's just quiet all around, even on the road. And I am concerned about going back to work and what that looks like being on the train. I feel like if we, depending, everyone's wondering how soon you do turn back on the economy, so to speak. And, trying to not do it too early. And I'm wondering whether I'm going to take the train or if I'm going to drive. And I'm fortunate to be in that position, but there are many others who are not in that position. And I don't know what that's going to look like.
It kind of goes back to what I said before.
There is no going back to where we were. It's just not going to happen. Not right now, not anytime soon. Maybe not ever. But we have to see. There's too many unknowns, especially there's just too many unknowns with the virus, and we don't know. We're just getting different information daily, and we just try to make sense of it all and try and see what's worth taking in and what's not.
Thank you. Okay. Old business, we have this the Yankee Stadium update. You want to talk about that, Lisa?
Sure. We had followed up on the letter that Francina had received and the follow-ups that she had gotten. I believe I shared the response.
Yes.
Yes. So, I mean, at this point, who knows, right? We know that the courts will continue to need to function in the new normal. We know that there will be we assume that there will continue to be a seat of government near the Yankee Stadium stop. We know that there will continue to be games, but I think this is something that we should revisit once things start to resume, if that makes sense.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so we can then move on to new business. MTA and Metro North response to keeping riders safe during the pandemic. Well, they're giving masks and all of the PPE to the employees. It was unfortunately one of the mechanics up in Croton, Harmon Shops passed away the other day. A press release was sent out about it, and Kathy Rinaldi emailed the board, the members of the committee, and of course I didn't know him, but I know some people who didn't know him, but they worked with his wife, people who worked for Metro North or retired from Metro North. So it's a sad thing. Trains, of course, the essential service plan. As I mentioned in my chair's report, I've been after them to reduce the consist and reduce service in the days leading up to when they finally did it. So that was taken care of. What do you want to talk about? Return to service, Lisa or Ellen? That's the next item.
We don't know when that's going to happen. All right. So, as the earlier part of this call has focused on what will be the new normal, what will be the commute patterns, when will people feel comfortable. On the LIRRCC call that was held, I'm going to say almost 2 weeks ago, the railroad was asked by the members when they thought return to service would start, and the response was that they anticipate it will be when the return to work, not orders, but when the restrictions are lifted, and then it will probably be phased to meet the demand. So I would imagine that will be the same. Randy, maybe that's one of the questions that you can ask at the briefing today. What their return to service plan is. We know that the governors, this now 7 governors have joined a restart, or have formed a restart group to look at regional aspects of reopening the economy. So I would imagine that transportation is going to be, and transit is going to be a key aspect of it. Larry Schwartz and his, as I call them, his merry band of secretaries at the governor's table are charged in large part with forming the group that's going to that was the initial core of looking at restarting the economy. It looks that group has been enlarged. So you know, I guess the update is that there is no update. But Naomi, maybe
can I add something?
Sure.
I just think the way the governor's, that he is completely talking about how, well, we can't restart the economy without a transportation system. So it's nice he's linking those two things and talking about it. And the sort of creative process of this multi-state effort on how to phase in opening the economy. So I think what New York's version of that is, what they decide of these sectors can open because they don't produce crowding and you can socially space or whatever, because it's that group is tied, it has both economists and health, decision makers, which is really nice about it. And so I think our job will be watching, what's the first phase, and transportation-wise, what does that mean for Metro North of maybe where do those workers live or something, and seeing how service responds to the sectors that they open first. That's all.
Well, New Jersey Transit adopted a policy of 50% right now.
Mm-hmm.
That the trains can only have 50% of the seats taken.
Right. Yeah. And so they did an emergency loading guideline, right? Which I think is a really interesting, if they did it in that way, because they're asking buses to do that. So, but MTA has.
They're also doing it on trains too.
Yeah. And they're having everybody wear masks, that requirement. So it has felt like everything has been a step late, a lot coming out of MTA. From the mask requirements to the spacing, for transit, I think it's a bit different. I don't know. Do you all know how many people are out as far as the train operators on Metro North? I'm sorry, did I miss that earlier where that was spoken about?
Kathy did send us an email about it. Hang on, let me look.
Okay, that's helpful to know. Because with transit, they don't have the number of people to run the service.
This was as of Monday. There were 71 positives, 460 in quarantine, 345 returned to work, one gentleman who passed away, and 2 were in the hospital.
Does she break it out anywhere in terms of frontline staff and train crews?
No,
if there's a shortage of train crews or?
Nope, it was just the numbers by each of those categories.
So Randy, that might be great if you can ask in the briefing. They cut service maybe because there wasn't a need for that service.
No.
When they rebuild, do they? What's that? Sorry.
I've been breaking their chops about running because I have my friends who are the eyes in the ear on the road are telling me that nobody was riding the trains.
Right.
Right.
You've been calling for it for a while.
Yeah.
Right. No, but also to match it with understanding what their crew availability is. And maybe that's been put out publicly. I didn't know what Metro North crew availability, if that's a strain for them at all.
I think it's their crew availability, thankfully, is very good.
Yeah, I think they're both the railroads, because of the vast service reductions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
have not been in better shape than transit.
Than transit is. That's good.
Yeah, I said they
I wonder,
couldn't rest.
Naomi, do you have do you guys have a return to service plan?
We do. Yeah, we do. As of April 1st. Well, let me go back. March 23rd, we went to rear door boarding. I mean, I think MTA did that on our buses. I think the MTA did that at that time too. So we stopped collecting fares on buses. So of course that's a huge hit. And then we blocked off like the first 6 seats or 3 in each row, so that to protect the driver. So it's rear door boarding. And then as of April 1st, we went to an enhanced Saturday schedule. So we have maybe roughly half the amount of service on Saturday that we have on weekdays, and our ridership Saturday is about half of what it is during the week. And but we did identify certain routes where we had a lot of riders, or ones that are serving the Westchester County Medical Center, where there was a lot of demand, and so we did add some service. So we're calling it an enhanced Saturday schedule, and we've lost about 80% of the riders. We were carrying 95 to 100,000 a day. We're down to maybe 20,000. We think it's a lot of healthcare workers, it's grocery store workers, it's people who are really dependent on the bus to get to where they need to go. So, of course, we've taken a huge revenue hit, like everybody.
Wow.
And just thinking about too, like, how do you? The thing is, because of union obligations, I'm sure it's the same as with MTA. We have the drivers they all still get paid.
Right.
It's not like they get temporarily laid off. So then when you restart, how do you phase it in? Because how do you make the decision that one route is more important than another? So it's really going to be a challenge for us. And I think we just, there's too many unknowns. We don't have a crystal ball at this point. Certainly, even in terms of timing, to even start to plan for this, there's so much unknown. So phasing in, we talk about that, but if we're paying the drivers, the only savings we're getting now is in fuel, and then there's some less wear and tear on the buses, obviously. So this is really trying for us, really trying times.
And Naomi,
Wow.
I'm sorry, did I miss earlier? Do you have crews out on the out on sick leave, and is that a
we
percentage?
do. We have to, you know what? I can look that up. Yeah, we have to actually report that to the FTA. As far as I can look at the latest report, if you just bear with me, or if you want to keep talking about something else. Let's see. Hold on.
We have caller number 6 that joined us. Who's calling number?
Okay, I've got it here. This was just saying yesterday, as of April 13th, we had 28 confirmed cases of COVID-19. So that would be among all our mechanics and drivers. And maybe we have about 700 employees with, all the mechanics, all the drivers and everything. So, it's, and then others are calling in. There have been ones calling in sick so we get, service gets disrupted if they don't have a driver.
Right, exactly. Do you have people boarding requiring the mask like New Jersey does, or I guess
no, we have not. We have not done that.
Has it been thought about?
We have been massive. I don't. I'll have to look into it.
Okay. Yeah.
If it's been brought up, because a lot of people too. You can easily make one with a scarf, but a lot of people don't have. A lot of people don't have even the materials or to even make one, or you can't even go buy them.
And that's the thinking is, how do you actually implement that? I think it's complicated.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, how do you enforce it?
Well, in New York City, the mayor has just said that he's telling supermarkets that anybody who wants to go into a supermarket should wear a mask, and supermarkets shouldn't let people in. So some of it is an enforcement issue, but
but in the
T-shirt over your face.
that's on the food side.
Yeah.
But thinking if you're transporting medical workers who have to get to their jobs and they don't happen to have one, and you're not supplying it so they can get to their job, that all gets really complicated.
Right. Well, it doesn't have to be a mask, just another kind of face covering.
Right.
But anyway, that's a whole nother
All right.
conversation. I won't walk near people
Break-
who don't have them on.
Breaking news,
Come on.
I think we have Rich is number
Oh.
6, so we're all present and accounted for. So we have
Wonderful.
percent attendance. And I thank you very much.
Great.
Okay.
Well, Randy, what I did is I went to my doctor, and he gave me some masks.
Oh, how nice. You know, one of our friends, good. One of our friends made some masks for us, so we wear them when we go outside.
There's all sorts of instructions online on how you can do it out of bandanas and T-shirts and coffee
Yeah, with
filters.
no sewing involved in a bunch of them.
Right, no sewing, because that's got my attention, definitely.
All right. Yes, it's not on the agenda, but there's no point talking about new members because I guess nothing is getting done up at Albany these days. as far
Right.
as-
Well, you know what? I'll check.
Okay.
I'll ask. Doesn't hurt to ask, right? Maybe they're looking for things to do.
There was one thing the MTA had sent out yesterday. Those of you who get the press releases, and I hope that you all do, it says sound the horn, plane whistles and whatever at 3 o'clock, all the major operators and ferries and Port Authority and all of the MTA and the nice bus, they all are going to sound the horn at 3 o'clock to the transit employees. So I sent this out to my group of rail fan friends and bus friends, and I also included the Hudson link. And a while later, we put out a press alert to all the people that they would be participating as well.
Great.
So that's what we do.
It's tomorrow. It's tomorrow at 3, right?
Oh, today. I think it's
No, I think it's Thursday.
Thursday, right? Tomorrow. 3
Okay.
Yeah, tomorrow 3 o'clock.
Although you know what, at 7 o'clock in my neighborhood, everybody's cheering. And
Yes.
I'm cheering for the transit workers too, and the grocery
Yeah.
workers.
We've seen those videos. They're great.
Yeah, it's really inspiring. I mean, we set aside 7 o'clock so that we can go out, we bring out our pots and pans and bang them. And it's very, it's good to see people and cheer and whistle and have that sense of community that we don't have because we can't see people in our communities except out the window.
Okay.
Yeah, very uplifting, as you said. That's great.
So next Wednesday is going to be the board meeting and all the committee meetings all taking place at the same time like they did last month. And so I think it would be nice if someone from our council said some nice words about the transit. So I'll let Lisa explain how it can be done.
Yep, the MTA on Monday is doing signups for their public session, which is terrific, and we participated in last month's. And so Pat Foy actually reached out, and we think it's a great idea to have somebody from each of the councils just talk about transit workers and the work that they're doing and how they're frontline essential heroes and workers. And we will be happy to make all of those arrangements to do the sign up and to write up a little script.
We need a volunteer
if
council to do it.
Well, TRC will definitely do it, and hopefully MNRCC. I mean, I would love to see them all sort of interwoven as one presentation, but that is dependent on how the MTA's technology experts can manage it. I'll reach out to them in advance, actually.
Francine, would you like to do it?
I don't know. Let's talk about it afterwards, if you don't mind. Perhaps. I couldn't quite hear you guys clearly just a moment ago.
I guess we could have it offline.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, unless
No,
you want to
why
repeat what
why
you guys
don't I
just said.
write something
I,
and send it?
the gist that yeah, all I got is that you want us to volunteer to participate in something but I couldn't quite understand what you guys want me to do.
Sure, it would be participating in the public involvement session of the board, which would be done on Monday morning via Zoom or telephone, but Zoom preferably.
Okay.
And just saying, commenting on that the Metro North employees, the workers, the transit folks who are moving, the heroes around and getting folks where they need to go at a time in this terrible time. Basically
You'd help
saying,
write. You would give some guidance on it, please. Sir.
yes,
That's fine. I can do that.
terrific.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. I don't have anything else here. If you want to go around and see if anybody wants to say something, we can do that. Oren?
Can I just give an update on some of the things that we're doing at PCAC?
Oh, sure. Go ahead.
That'd be great.
Okay, so as you may have heard, the MTA asked for and received about $4 billion from the federal government in stimulus emergency funds, which we thought was, great, but a low number. So we've been working with a group of other advocates to come up with something that's a defensible, more realistic number. At the same time that the MTA is also working to put together, it has hired McKinsey to put together a report that looks at the MTA's economic impact on the region, and that includes the an overall look at what it would be asking from the federal government. So, that we're hoping that gets discussed at the board briefing today, and little birdies tell us that it might get released tomorrow. So hopefully it will be discussed at the board meeting today. And we, as the advocacy community that we've been working with, is very interested in making sure that there's not an underfunding, that's happening as there was what we believe there was last time. So we wanted to be able to support the MTA in whatever they're asking, and ensure that it's robust enough to really meet the needs of, just not just what the revenue loss is now, but into the future.
Okay.
So,
Somebody was going to say something. I guess not. Okay. So before we wrap up, Oren, you have anything you want to add?
I can't hear. It's echoing when
Hey,
you
Randy,
talk.
if whoever's not speaking, if they could mute, that'd be great.
Ellen, I think that might be you.
I'm not speaking.
Yeah, but
Right,
the
I think there's some feedback.
Oh, okay.
Hold on.
All right,
Okay.
all right. So Oren, it's up to you. Who's going to start off? I guess not. Okay, Francis,
What was the question, Randy?
if there's anything you want to add before we close the meeting.
Oh, yeah, I don't, except Naomi, good luck, because you're you're right on the front line there with this, trying to figure it all out too.
Oh, yeah.
So good luck with that. But yeah, just we gotta get through this.
Right. Yeah. And Randy, what I suggest is you had a whole list of items in your report, and maybe we can discuss them at the next meeting, because we'll have a better picture of how things stand.
Sure. Okay. Francina, you have anything else you want to add?
no, I don't.
Okay.
Thank you for asking.
All right. Rich, you have anything?
No, I'm good.
Okay, so I thank everybody for their time, and we'll have another, probably next month, the same thing again. Well, you know, time will tell. All right, so thank you, everybody. Motion to
Thanks,
adjourn.
Randy.
Thank you.
Move to adjourn.
Bye, everybody.
Second.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye.
Stay
Okay,
safe.
safe. Be well.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.